Chapter 3. They sat there in McDonald's for a long time. Denny eating his cheeseburger and fries, Allie coloring her fire dog. Having already colored everything in the picture that could be colored, she was now going back over it a second time. Denny thought she was overdoing it, but said nothing as he saw no harm in it. As she colored and scribbled, he looked around, observing the other customers. A lot of them were rednecks, and for reasons Denny did not understand, rednecks fascinated him. He didn't like them. He hated them, their politics, and what he perceived to be their simple ways, but they still fascinated him in the way that people who hate snakes still stand and gawk at them. They were in a fairly small town called Rolla, smack dab in the middle of nowhere. Denny and Allie were just passing through on their way home from their camping trip to Table Rock Lake. Denny had wanted to wait another hour or so to stop and eat, but Allie had insisted. "I'm hungry," she whined from the back seat. Denny loved the kid, but he'd found himself feeling a little bit annoyed. Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard were on the radio, singing about Poncho and Lefty, and Denny wanted to listen to the song in peace. It was a good one, a song he'd always enjoyed, and it was an oldie he rarely heard on the radio. He'd ignored the statement, really more of a demand, the first time, but was forced to respond when she said it again 30 seconds later. He looked in the rearview mirror, seeing her desperate eyes looking back at him. "We'll get something soon," he said. He could only see her eyes and the bridge of her nose in the mirror, but could still read anguish on her face. She had expressive eyes. He heard her sigh. "I'm hungry now," she said, stretching it out. They were between towns at the moment. "Look around, baby," he said. "There aren't any restaurants here. We have to wait until we get to the next town." This didn't convince her. As any parent knows, 7-year-olds don't care about such trivialities as logic or facts. They only care about what they know to be immediately true, and at that moment, her immediate truth was that she was hungry. "Please, Denny Pa," she said in a pained voice that melted his heart. He tried to convey understanding with his eyes, but wasn't sure he was accomplishing it. And even if he had, she was 7, so he doubted she would recognize it. "We're going to be to the next town in 5 minutes." "How long is 5 minutes?" Good question. He considered it for a moment, finally giving her the flippant answer that was, "A minute longer than 4 minutes and a minute less than 6. He knew this wouldn't appease her, but he had said it only for his own amusement. "What are we going to eat?" she asked. "I don't know, Allie. It depends on what they have." "What do they have?" He looked at her, seeing her staring back with a look that was somehow both angry and doe-eyed innocent. "I don't know, baby. I don't know what they have." "Why?" He sighed, turning his attention back to the radio. He managed to listen to about 20 seconds of it before she interrupted. "When are we going to eat, Denny Pa? I'm hungry." "You're hungry, huh?" he asked, again for his own amusement. But she didn't know he was joking. Nuances were lost on 7-year-olds. Just after he'd said it, he saw a sign advertising a McDonald's 4 miles away. When they got to McDonald's, Allie was acting as if she might die of starvation at any moment. Had he not known better and could only hear her whine about her hunger, Denny would have believed he was listening to one of the bony, malnourished African kids from that old Sally Struthers commercial. "What do you want to eat?" Denny asked, knowing full well what the answer would be. "Chicken nuggets," she said. It was always chicken nuggets, every single time, and yet he continued to ask for reasons he didn't understand. That had been 40-some minutes ago, and the two of them were just sitting there in the booth. Allie looked up. "I need a new coloring paper." "Why?" "'Cause this one's all colored up." She raised it to show him. He looked at it, seeing that it was indeed all colored up. "Tell you what, kiddo, how about I go to the restroom real quick, and then we go?" "Back on the road?" "Back on the road." "I don't want to get back in the car." "We can't stay here." "Why?" "It's McDonald's. People don't live in McDonald's." "I mean the town. We could stay in a motel." "Motels cost money." The little girl thought about it and then said, "We have our tent in the car. We could sleep in that." "We don't know anyone here," he said, "and in a few hours we'll be back home and you'll be able to sleep in your own bed. You can sleep under your My Little Pony blanket and snuggle with your teddy bear. Won't that be nice?" Allie sat there for a moment, considering it.